Round 3 of the 2022 My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championships presented by Motul continues here at Wakefield Park. 2 more races left on today's program. First up, we have the third and final race for the Yamaha Finance R3 Cup, and rounding out today's program, the third and final race for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, with the R3 Cup riders heading off on their final warm-up lap now, getting ready for 8 laps of racing action. So far we've seen some pretty hectic racing between these riders across multiple classes. Of course, pretty much exactly the same field as we see in the Supersport 300. The difference is that Cameron Dunker has taken 3 race victories in the Supersport 300. But so far he's had to share the victories with Glenn Nelson in the Yamaha Finance R3 Cup.
Winning earlier on today, so it was really good to see that, mix it up a little bit. You don't want to have Cameron Dunker have it all his own way, do you, Phil? So good to see as they head out on their warm-up lap there. Cameron Dunker on pole position with Cameron Swain in second, Hayden Nelson in third.
Second row of the grid is Glenn Nelson, Teo Aksu and Marianus Nicholas. Row 3, Brodie Gorwith, Jonathan Nalos, who wasn't actually out there in the Supersport 300 race, but should be back out in R3 Cup, and Liam Waters rounding out the third row in position number 9.
Good to see Henry Snell there on row 4. Marcus Hamod, we saw him a little bit up there as well. Sam Pizzetta, we know he can do better than that 4th row. He'll work his way through the field for sure. Jai Russo, Jamie Port, good qualifying, glad to have him back. Jordan Simpson, the last of the Simpsons, left out on track. One of them, Ollie Simpson, broke his collarbone earlier on this week, or his shoulder popped out. So unfortunately for him, it's up to him.
So Cameron Dunker coming around to take up his position on the front row of the grid. Cameron Swain on 26, and also Hayden Nelson on 279 up there on the front row of the grid. So second last race on today's program, final race for Yamaha Finance R3 Cup. Dunker and Nelson have shared the victory so far this weekend. Sam Phillips leaves the front of the grid with his red flag as we get ready to go racing. R3 Cup is go. Looked like a pretty good start from Nelson on the inside of the grid too. Can he maintain that momentum as he heads down towards turn 1 for the first time? It is Cameron Dunker and Cameron Swain that take the lead through turn 1 and 2 as they make their way through AMMF corner and up the hill for the first time. It looks like Marianus Nicholas has got another cracking start. He's up there to 4th place on board bike number 46, and Nelson is back to 5th.
He's doing a great job, isn't he, Marianus Nicholas? That was a real good start from him, made some places off the start. But Cameron Dunker doing what he does every single time. He gets that lightning lead. Really impressive the way that he does that.
And he's been able to, in all of the races so far, get a good start and then lead that first couple of laps. If anything, open up a little bit of a lead over the first couple of laps, but then the rest of the field have been able to just work their way forward and catch back up to him, and the last lap has always resulted in a massive fight for the race win.
This is the best first lap I've seen Cameron Swain have, though. He's right up there, sitting in that second position at the moment. Big moment there.
I think that was Brodie Gorwith coming up the inside of Marianus Nicholas, and Nicholas had to stand the bike up to remain on track. He's dropped a fair way back down the field.
Yeah, he certainly has. Hayden Nelson there sits in 3rd position. Up the inside goes Dunker. He got passed down that main straight by the number 26, Cameron Swain, who took the lead briefly. And there's Glenn Nelson on that orange and black machine as well, diving up the inside almost, but not quite into Dunlop.
Yeah, you have a look at the other riders at the front. The very unique style of Glenn Nelson on board bike number 39. He will see an AMX Superstores replay of that incident between Brodie Gorwith on 25 and Mario Nelson on 279. It was Hayden Nelson on 279. So I'll tell you who's doing a good ride in this one as well is Brodie Gorwith.
Yeah.
Even though he came into contact with Marianus at the last corner, he's very keen to try and put on another big move on the final corner at Yamaha Revs Your Heart.
He's found a nice little line there. He dives in there narrow and all the way to the apex early. It seems to be working for him, but it's catching a few guys out. Certainly caught out last time out. Marianus Nicholas. And
looks like Glenn Nelson has now made his way up into the lead of this group using the slipstream down the start-finish straight and into Alpine Stars turn 1.
Just see Cameron Dunker there just settling himself on the bike. He was just moving his elbows around there, getting a different grip on the handlebar.
So Teo Aksu has dropped back to a 6th position, but certainly well and truly in this battle. So is Henry Snell on board bike number 12. It's a while since we've seen Henry up in the lead group. He's been conspicuous by his absence, hasn't he, so far this weekend?
Now we've got a decent lead group. We've had groups of 3 and 4 throughout the weekend, but this is a decently sized group. This is what we used to see. We've got 10 guys, including Sam Pizzetta in there from the Unitec Racing team, all within a second and a half of the leader. So
yeah, the young South Australian, this is the best that he's been riding so far this weekend, hasn't it? He's probably really struggled with that. This would probably be his first visit to Wakefield
Absolutely,
Park.
Yeah, and although it's simple to look at, it's quite a tricky circuit to go fast on. So Sam Pizzetta, you'd imagine, is getting quicker every lap, and you just see him there in the background making his way forward.
Big move there for Brodie Gorwith, tried to come down the inside, but couldn't quite get the job done. Cameron Swain was able to hold the corner speed and maintain 3rd position. I think Brodie Gorwith made his intentions well and truly clear as he comes up the top of the hill, puts a move on Hayden Nelson on the 279 bike. Now tries to go after the rider in front, which is bike number 181, Liam Waters.
How's Teo Aksu's style as well? I really like the way that he never really seems to start well, but he works his way through the pack, and by the end of the race, he's always there, isn't he?
I think that was Teo just putting a move on Brodie Gorwith, actually back in the field.
Yeah, Henry Snell just behind him as well.
Actually, it was Hayden Nelson that he put the move on. As we go back to the front, and strangely enough, Steve, it is Cameron Dunker and Glenn Nelson running 1-2 at the front of a Yamaha Finance R3 Cup race.
Yeah, Liam Waters is right up there too. He's been a bit up and down this weekend, so good to see him back up near the front.
So Cameron Swain still holds down the 3rd position. Can he hold it down now as they come through Alpine Stars and down into Motul Corner Turn 2? He was coming under a fair bit of pressure from Liam Waters. It looks like he has been able to do that as they make the run up through AMMF Corner towards the top of the hill. It is still Dunker leading from Nelson. See Nelson there with a very unique style in this class. As we said, he's one of the taller riders in the class. Along with also Hayden Nelson is probably one of the taller riders in the class as well. Then you've got some of the other guys like Marianus Nicholas and Jay Russo that are probably a little bit smaller.
Big move up the inside there. Didn't quite work out like Brodie Gorwith trying to make another move. He seems to have found something on the brakes, that's for sure, has Brodie, because he's doing such a great job diving into the inside. More of a traditional line this time around for the number 25.
So we're coming round to complete 5 laps, so half race distance has been passed by 1 whole lap. Coming across the line now, 5 laps down, 3 laps to go. Liam Waters has made a move up into a 3rd position, getting the better of Cameron Swain. Closing in fast as Brodie Gorwith on 25, and a little bit of a gap back to Teo Aksu. Then it's Hayden Nelson on the 279 machine in 7th place. Marcus Hamod, Henry Snell and Sam Pizzetta round out the top 10. I think Pizzetta's just lost touch now with the lead group. Top 4 have sort of started to get away a fraction.
Really trusts the front end through that Dunlop corner. There's Cameron Dunker. You can just see the amount of bumps there. That front suspension on that R3 Yamaha soaking it up.
Oh, big move on the brakes. I think that was Gorwith going up the inside.
He looked at that the last time through. The last lap through, he had a look at it. This time he's made it work out. He's working his... Go on.
Cameron Swain had no option but to let him through.
No, pretty much. When he takes that inside line, Brodie Gorwith, he takes that inside line. You can see there, once again, diving in, sits himself in that 4th position at the moment, so making his way towards the front of the pack.
Nelson pulls out of the slipstream of Dunker and tries to go past. And if that's a rehearsal for the final lap, they need to be careful of Liam Waters on board bike number 181 because he used the double slipstream there to great effect to take the race lead through Alpine Stars and hold it as he made his way through Motul Corner Turn 2 and up the hill as well as they get to Dunlop. Run a fraction wide on the entry into Dunlop, but still manages to hold that position as they come through the top of the hill.
Certainly a lot of pressure there for
no matter what. That was a big move on Cameron Duncan. We know how fast Cameron Duncan is into the bottom of the hill there, but Cameron's also shown that he's more than happy just to use his racecraft over the last 2 laps. If he gets pushed back a little bit,
there he goes again.
Deal with it. Look at that, back up the inside, trying to put a move there on Glenn Nelson. Couldn't quite get the job done. May have lost another position, in fact.
Well, Brodie Gorworth made one. He went up to the 2nd position. Glenn Nelson slipstreams back by, though. A little bit of a gap back now to Dunker.
Right, last lap. 2.2 kilometres to go. Here comes Dunker. He's gone from 4th position up to 2nd through Alpine Stars and Motul corners, and he's now setting sail up the hill, trying to reel in our race leader, Liam Waters, on board bike number 181. Remember, he's taken 1 race victory this weekend, Cameron Dunker. Glenn Nelson's taken the other one. Will we see 3 different race victors in Yamaha Finance R3 Cup here this weekend? Nelson certainly, that's Hayden Nelson certainly not out of the equation either. If he can put a big move on Brodie Gorworth at the bottom of the hill, he tries. He can't do it. He's gone for the wide entry line. Gorworth's gone in narrow. I think Nelson's done it. Nelson's gone past, so it's the 2 Nelsons now in 3rd and 4th position. But our race leader is still Liam Waters, Cameron Dunker in 2nd. Will it be a slipstream to the line once again, Steve?
Well, Waters has got to dive in, otherwise it's going to get past on the inside there. They can't do it. Dunker's gone round the outside. It's going to come down to the slipstream. Dunker's right where he wants to be, but he's got a big gaggle of guys behind him now.
Teo Aksu's run wide. He's out of the equation. I think it's Liam Waters that pulls out of the slipstream and will take the win. Liam Waters pulls out of the slipstream, used it to absolute perfection, takes the win. Do you reckon he's happy, Steve? Look at that, celebrating as he nearly runs off the track through turn 2 or turn 1. The margin over Cameron Dunker, 0.05 of a second. Glenn Nelson will take the final place on the podium. Teo Aksu, do you reckon he's happy about Liam Waters' win as well? Look at that, the celebrations.
You say that's close at 0.50, but that's the biggest win we've had so far this weekend.
Yeah, I think it was 0.05 or something yesterday, 0.025 this morning. Yeah, 0.05 is a massive margin in Yamaha Finance R3 Cup, and that is the distance between Liam Waters, who took victory over Cameron Dunker and Glenn Nelson, Hayden Nelson in 4th place, Brodie Gorworth in 5th, Cameron Swain in 6th, Teo Aksu in 7th, Marcus Amod in 8th, Henry Snell in 9th, and Sam Pizzetta rounds out the top 10, with Marianus Nicholas finishing in 11th place, Joe Russo in 12th, Jordan Simpson in 13th, Cooper Roundtree in 15th, and Jamie Port rounds out the top 15. Levi Russo doing a good job in Blue Crew Oceania Cup. Jay Russo doing a good job in Yamaha Finance R3 Cup. Let's have a look at the Honda race highlights now, and no surprise to see Cameron Dunker leading them through Motul corner on the first lap and setting sail to try and build up a bit of a lead. Mariana's got a great start, but unfortunately came into contact with the rider at turn 10 and pushed him way back through the field.
Yeah, he was lucky to get away with that, wasn't he? Cameron Swain was up at the front, but he got dive bombed by the number 3, Cameron Dunker, who did his best to always be at the front. You could just see that slipstream distance speed as they head down into the Motul corner, turn 1.
You see Brodie Gorworth there was putting a lot of big passing manoeuvres on that one at the bottom of the hill. I think that was on bike number 26, Cameron Swain, making his way forward. At the same time, Liam Waters had also made his way forward on the 181 machine and was having his turn at running at the front.
Liam Waters had a lot of pressure put on him by all the riders behind. Glenn Nelson was there, Cameron Dunker was there, but he rose to the challenge. With brake late, he didn't let anyone through. He led all the way down into the fishhook.
And as we said at the start of the last lap, Cameron Dunker was back in about 4th or 5th position, but he made his way forward, came onto the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start finish straight in the lead, getting the better of Liam Waters, but Waters used the slipstream to absolute perfection, pulled out and got the win by 0.050 of a second, and he celebrates there with Teo Aksu as they make their way back to Park Fermé. So, championship points, Glenn Nelson leads the championship by 10 points over Cameron Dunker, 188 to 178. Then it's Hayden Nelson's moved up into 3rd now, courtesy of some solid results this weekend. 141 points, 10 points ahead of Henry Snell. Then it's Liam Waters in 5th, Sam Pizzetta in 6th, Joe Russo in 7th, Teo Aksu in 8th, Brodie Gorworth in 9th, and Mitch Simpson rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, good to see Marcus Hammett there as well. Jonathan Naylor, 65 points. Jordan Simpson, 56 points. Cameron Swain, 47 points. He should be further up than that. Clay Clegg, 47 points as well.
Just waiting for our top 3 to make their way back to Park Fermé, where they'll be telling KP about their weekend.
It's a beautiful circuit when you look at it from this angle, isn't it?
Now it's time to go to the AMX Superstores podium with KP.
Glenn Nelson, a big weekend all wrapped up and another podium for you. Well done.
Yeah, it was not my best weekend this year, but it's still to get points on the board.
Yeah, and that's what's important for the championship. So congratulations.
Yeah, it's all that matters.
Exactly. All right, and in P2, Cameron Dunker. Mate, you are just pulling in the points left, right and centre. It wasn't a win for you today, but at a P2, so well done.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't really think that it was going to happen, but into turn 2, just went for a big dive bomb, made it work, but then, yeah, just tried to go around the outside and he got the run on me down the straight. So, but it was a really good race, and I couldn't do this without all my sponsors, KYT Helmets, Recondi, RS&C, just GDR Moto Stars, Jamie, Max, just everyone.
Well, we love to see your racecraft out there, Cameron, so well done. We'll see you at the next round.
Yeah, thank you.
And in P1, someone fresh on the podium this weekend. A big congratulations to Liam Waters. You almost ran off the track at the end there. You were so excited.
Nearly, yeah, it was the last race of the day. I was like, may as well go all out while I'm at it. I was a bit behind for a bit, but I managed to work my way back up and I found I had a good rhythm. And, you know, I'd just like to say massive thank you to Mum, Dad, all my friends who support me, and Triple X Suspension for all his help this weekend, and all the people who helped me rebuild my bike after the countless crashes. So thank you.
Well done, Liam. That's always a nice thank you to those people.
Oh, thanks very much, KP. Great to hear from our top 3 and Liam Waters and his countless crashes. Time for a quick break here from Wakefield Park. One more race left on today's program. It's the Road to MotoGP, the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. Final race coming up shortly.
To adapt to the tires, to be honest, it didn't take a crazy amount of time, you know. For sure with the Superbike the tires are softer, but in general we were able to adapt and find a great feeling. And to be honest, the difference, or the feeling difference, is not so much between this and the tires we would run on a cold weekend. It was a little harder the first laps, but I didn't know the circuit. But immediately, as soon as I was ready to push, the tires were there and ready to go immediately. Yeah, the performance has been really good overall for the amount of laps we can make. And the consistent performance of the tires. I've been really surprised with this, to be able to do, 40 something laps with the tires and have no issues, still doing some of my best times at the end. So the durability is amazing.
Welcome back to Wakefield Park. Third round of the championship here. Final race of the day about to start. Steve Martin is the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. And a message from Race Direction. So some changes to the Race 2 results. Levi Russo has now been credited with the race win. Harrison Watts and Hudson Thompson have been penalised.
Yeah, unfortunately for those two guys, they were weaving over the white line down the start-finish straight, which is not in the spirit of the sport. It's dangerous, so they've been docked back a position. So unfortunately for them, Harrison Watts and Hudson Thompson have moved from first and second to second and third, and Levi Russo unfortunately didn't get to celebrate his win, but we've acknowledged it here. So a good ride by Levi Russo there, and it's a good warning for these other guys that you've got to, they're young, you've got to stay within the limits of the sport, and you've got to keep it clean.
Exactly right. So Levi Russo, the red helmet, will be out once again trying to take another victory. But it's going to be pretty hard because Harrison Watts and Hudson Thompson have been the two fast riders in this class this weekend. So it's going to be interesting to see because in the race before, though, there was plenty of other riders. Marcus Hamod, Cameron Rendy's always been fast as well. Didn't finish that far behind the lead. So can he make a change to get back up here? And, it's probably a bit of a different track to these days. South Australians probably spend most of their time riding at the Ben Motorsport Park. Wakefield Park is a little bit different. Even though they're both parks, one of them is very open, the other one's very tight and twisty.
There is Malala, which is tight and twisty as well. So, if he's smart, he'll be testing on both of those tracks, which will be a good thing for him. But definitely those top five guys, Cameron Rende, Marcus Hamod, Hudson Thompson, Harrison Watson, Levi Russo, they've all got the pace here this weekend to take out the final victory in the final race of the weekend.
Also, just to mention too, for young Sam Drain, who finished in 6th place in that final race, in the second race. We're about to have the final race now. The 11-year-old from Forbes is actually heading over to compete in the USA on an 85cc in the Yamaha Flat Track Championship in July. So in Degwan, Illinois, I believe, and the whole event is actually run over a week with 5 days of competition. So good luck to young Sam Drain.
That sounds pretty exciting, actually, to be doing something like that at 11 years old, doesn't it?
He's also the current 65cc Australian champion dirt tracker, and he's at 4 state championships and 4th in the AMA Flat Track Championships as well, to his credit. Not a bad resume when you're 11 years old, but then again, following in the footsteps of his older brother Tom, who's 16 years old, who has got multiple Australian dirt track championships, state dirt track championships, and 3 AMA Flat Track Championships to his name.
Well, I wouldn't mind a resume half of that. That'd be pretty impressive. They've certainly done a lot, the Drain family, in the short period of time that they've been in the paddock, but we welcome them into the road racing paddock because they're pretty fast on the tarmac too.
Yeah, Tom's showing some great pace this weekend. I think from a previous round I did say that they were from Parks. Forbes and Parks are only very, very close together in kilometres, but they don't particularly like each other, apparently, from what I'm led to believe.
There you go. Now you know. Now you know.
All right, so it's going to take a bit of a shake-up of the championship points in Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup as well after those race results. So I can't wait to see what the amended championship point standings are after this third and final race of the championship, which is about to get underway. Pit lane will open in 30 seconds. We can see the riders making their way up to take up their positions out on track very, very shortly.
Winds up from when they raced earlier today as well. There's more or less a headwind down the straight now, so that's going to make it real interesting, especially with the slipstreaming effect of these bikes. When you have a headwind, it's actually even easier to overtake in a slipstream. So looking forward to see how close that makes the racing as they head out onto the track.
There's bike number 99. That is Nixon Frost, our visitor from across the ditch.
Following
in the footsteps of his dad, who raced over here for many, many years.
It's really good to see those guys back over here again. Of course, Slane Frost, an integral part of the paddock here for quite a number of years, racing Suzuki's and BMW's, various teams, and his own team in the end.
And also Abby Cameron, who has essentially made the move over from Western Australia for the first half of the year to compete in this championship. They'll probably be able to go home for a couple of months now back to Western Australia before the second part of the championship, which gets underway from August at Morgan Park for the run home to the Bend Motorsport Park in South Australia for the final round.
Yeah, they'll be really looking forward to getting over to do that, I'm sure. Now that all the borders and everything are open, everything's getting back to normal.
There's the new Race 2 victor, Levi Russo, on board bike number 72 with his red Shark helmet, making his way down towards the bottom of Pirelli Corner.
There's a couple of flashy helmets out there too, isn't there? Those red helmets really stand out. I like the look of those.
There is, of course, the entire field wearing Shark helmets. Bit of a change of equipment over the last 12 months in the Yamaha Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. Of course, Previously they were all wearing ATVs, now they're all wearing Shark helmets. Previously they were wearing Pirelli shod tyres. They're now all wearing Dunlops and doing a great job as well. Let's have a look at the grid. Hudson Thompson, Levi Russo and Marcus Hamod will start from the front row of the grid with Harrison Watts, Cameron Rende and Sam Drain starting out of row 2.
Row 3 is Hunter Corney, Alexander Cody and Ryan Larkin. Row 4, Tieran Fleming, Bodie Page, and in 12th is William Hunt.
Yeah, the man with the wildest haircut in the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, Elijah Andrews, starts out of position number 13 with John Pelgrave and Toby James. James Weaver, Abby Cameron and Nixon Frost rounding out row 6. And with a nickname like Sideshow Bob, I think you can probably imagine what Elijah Andrews' hair looks like.
Can't wait to see it, hopefully on the podium.
So one of the younger riders in the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup as well. Riders coming up now to take up their positions on the grid. You can see Hudson Thompson taking up his position there. Of course, his brother Carter was the first champion in the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, looking to follow in his brother's footsteps. Junior Cup is going. Oh, big wheel stand there from, couldn't see who that was. Was that Cameron Rende? I think it might have been.
No, I think it was Levi Russo.
Levi Russo, was it? It was Hudson Thompson that leads. Just looking to see, I think that might be Marcus Hamod on 13 that's finishing in, sitting in second position.
Yeah, Harrison Watts didn't get a very good start back down there in 4th position. Cameron Rende, the South Australian, just behind him, so he's moved up a spot from his grid position. Levi Russo went down 3 spots, so Levi Russo with a lot of work to do. The winner of the last race earlier today wants to stay in that top group if he can.
Well, he may have a red helmet on. I reckon after that he's probably got a red mist visor on as well.
Well, he's going to need one because it's not so simple to catch up on this track. The only thing that will help him is that headwind that we talked about down the straight. It's going to slow the front bikes up. Bit of a tailwind here, but when they get onto that start-finish straight, the slipstream effectively even more, and it should close the field up.
Cameron Rende has got a cracking start, Steve Martin. He's up to 4th position, but as we mentioned before, he's a fast learner because he's never been to Wakefield Park before. In fact, this is only his 4th round in the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup Championship. He did a guest ride at the end of last year, and then the first full season started back at Phillip Island.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's so fantastic to see, all of these young new guys that have come in and girls doing a fantastic job. Cameron Rende with his grandfather, Malcolm Pittman, one of the stalwarts in the paddock now.
Up towards the top of the hill at Suzuki we come. Hamod has slipped back to 3rd place. Harrison Watts has moved up into a second position on board bike number 14. Remember, it was Harrison Watts and Hudson Thompson that finished 1st and 2nd on track in race number 2, but they were both penalised 1 position. And that gave Levi Russo the race victory in race number 2. Levi Russo sitting back there. You can see him in 5th position. Just a little bit of a gap back from 4th place rider Cameron Rende to Levi Russo. Then a little bit of a further gap back to Sam Drain on board bike number 7. And Sam Drain, like his brother, with the plain white helmet.
Yeah, talking about that gap, Levi Russo's got a fair bit to catch up now, hasn't he? That's opened up a little bit. Cameron Rende, it's that top group of 4 or 5 there is just starting to stretch out.
2 laps down for Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup, and if anything, a little bit of a lead being starting to pulled out now by Hudson Thompson on board bike number 41. The gap was 0.6 of a second, Steve, but was actually nearly 0.7 of a second over Harrison Watts in 2nd place. But they can utilise the slipstream, these two, as Marcus Hamod does, to go up into 2nd
place. On the inside curb, but didn't affect him at all, which is good to see.
Well, that gap has now well and truly disappeared, and Marcus is right on the back wheel of Hudson's machine as they make their way through the long Pirelli fishhook up to Honda corner.
Full bore, full flat out on these little 150 machines through that Honda corner, tucked in, pulls out. There's Marcus Hamod, looks up the inside, can't make it because Hudson Thompson is really good on the brakes into that one.
Yeah, Gary McCoy is doing a great job this year educating the 11 to 16-year-olds that are competing in the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup on how to get the best out of these little motorcycles. Of course, a lot of people know Gary McCoy was a MotoGP race winner, but he was also a 125 Grand Prix race winner back in the old two-stroke days.
Absolutely. He was telling me how he used to do his training before he was we saw him at Eastern Creek, where he first sprung to our attention. He had a 500 CR Honda and a 125 CR Honda. He'd ride for 40 minutes on the 500 around a track that he'd had mapped out at home, the same shape as Sydney Motorsport Park. Then he put that 500 down, then he walked over to the other tree and got on the CR 125, and he would do that 2 or 3 times a day.
It's pretty good fitness, and that's what you got to have if you're going to be racing at that sort of level. But Marcus Hamod has got some good fitness about him because he's taken the lead now on the Yamaha R3 on board bike number 13. Could we see another victor over the weekend? 3 races, 3 victors. That's the great thing about Wakefield Park. It can shake them up a little bit.
Absolutely. Still a bit. Last lap, so that was pretty impressive to see. Gets eaten up in the slipstream though, because Harrison Watts goes through, and also on the inside goes Hudson Thompson, so that puts him back in the 3rd position. At least he sits on the podium at the moment.
Just having a look at the fastest lap of this race by Marcus Hamod at 1:14.677. That will be a new lap record.
I reckon you are right. That is very, very close to a lap record.
The previous record of 1:14.906 by Marianos Nicholas.
Yeah, well, there you go. The speed in this race is there to be seen by all.
A great advertisement for the new Dunlop slicks that the class is using this year as well.
Yep.
The one constant that has been in this class, or the 2 constants that have been in this class, apart from the fact that we're getting great young talent coming through, is that they're all using Yamaha R15 motorcycles and they're all wearing Racondi leathers.
Absolutely. New model R15 this year, though, not the same as what they've used in years gone by. Nice little move there by Marcus Hamod, who was in 4th, moved up in front of Cameron Rende, just through the fishhook there, but it didn't work out for him. But it is going to be a race between this group of 4 out front now, Phil, as we head into the final lap of this race.
Coming around to get that last lap board, and once again it is 14 and 41 that are at the front of this field. I can guarantee you, Steve, there will be no swerving as they come down the straight on this last lap. It is 14, that is Harrison Watts that takes the lead. Hudson Thompson goes back to 2nd place. Yeah, Cameron Rende's moved up into 3rd as well.
Yeah, keep an eye on Cameron Rende. He carried some good speed through that Motul corner there too.
Oh, geez, look at the bike moving around over those bumps at the top of the hill as they make their way through Suzuki now for the final time and then start the run down the hill. It is Watts that leads from Thompson, Rende and Marcus Hamod. Massive gap back to 5th place Levi Russo, who's, 4 seconds ahead.
Rende looks up the inside, can't quite do it.
So Rende maintains 3rd position. It is still Watts leading from Thompson. A couple of more overtaking opportunities to come. One of them coming up right now at Yamaha Rev's Hart corner, but the slipstream could be the deciding factor as they make their way down the back straight for the final time. Cameron Rende is coming up the inside. Marcus Hamod's got up the inside of all of them. I was going to say, he can't go from 4th to 1st, can he, in one corner? He's only gone up to 2nd place. And the leader has gone all the way back to the last place in that group. It is now Hudson Thompson that is in the lead as they come down the straight, and I think he's going to take the win. So Hudson Thompson takes the win. Bike number 41 takes the win by 0.191 of a second over Marcus Hamod and Harrison Watts, with Cameron Rende getting just something off the podium at the final, couple of metres of that race, Steve, to take out 4th position.
Yeah, what a great result. What a great result for Hamod as well. Really, he deserves that, mixing it up there, putting himself in between Hudson Thompson and Harrison Watts, who have been pretty much the 2 most competitive guys this weekend. So he may not have won the race, but he's proved to himself now that he literally can run with these guys. So 0.191 second lead win by Hudson Thompson.
So Hudson Thompson takes the win to make it 3 winners over the weekend. Harrison Watts took victory early on in the weekend. Joey Russo took victory earlier on, and then Hudson Thompson takes the final win over Marcus Hamod and Harrison Watts. Cameron Rende in 4th, Levi Russo in the 5th place. Hunter Corney in 6th, Sam Drain in 7th, Kieran Fleming in 8th, Ryan Larkin in 9th, and Alexander Cody rounds out the top 10 with John Pelgrave in 11th, Bodie Page in 11th, William Hunt in 13th, Elijah Andrew in 14th, James Weaver in 15th, Abby Cameron in 16th. Then it was Nixon Frost and Toby James rounding out the 18 finishers. So congratulations to our top 3. Can't wait to see the championship points. Now it's going to be very tight at the top, especially after Levi Russo taking that victory in race number 2 earlier on this weekend. Round points should see Hudson Thompson and Harrison Watts, I think, tied, but Hudson Thompson will get the victory. Let's have a look at the Honda race highlights now. As the riders got off on their final race of the weekend. You can see the red helmet there of Levi Russo, race 2 winner, getting shuffled back in the pack. Making a big move down the inside was the rider on bike number 74. But it was Marcus Hamod on 13, 41 Hudson Thompson, 14 Harrison Watson, Cameron Renday that managed to extricate themselves from the rest of the pack and had a 4-man battle all the way to the flag. That was Renday going down the inside of Hamod at the bottom of the Pirelli corner as Watts and Thompson managed to pull a small gap over the rest of the field. Coming up to the final corner for the final time, Hamod went from 4th place up to, I thought it was going to be the lead, but it was 2nd place. And around the outside, it was Hudson Thompson on board bike number 41 that got the run to the flag. Hamod finished in 2nd place, Harrison Watts in 3rd, and Renday in 4th position. Here we have the championship points. Harrison Watts now on 176 points, 13 points ahead of Hudson Thompson. Cameron Renday in 3rd, Sam Drain in 4th place, Marcus Hamod in 5th, Ryan Larkin, Kieran Fleming, Levi Russo, Hunter Corney and Alexander Cody round out the top 10. But it's pretty close at the top of the field, only 13 points separating top 2 as we head to the next round of the championship at Morgan Park in Queensland. But a bit of a break now, so plenty of off-season training coming up for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. Motorcycling Australia doing a great job to provide this pathway to MotoGP. We've seen all of the riders that have won the championship in the past head overseas and do some great work. And last year's champion, Cameron Swain, no exception. Good to see he's been overseas, done a little bit of riding, but he's also come back here and riding this weekend in the Supersport 300 and also Yamaha Finance R3 Cup. Time to get down to the podium for the final time at the AMX Superstores podium. It is KP.
And in P3, Harrison Watts, well done out there. It was a massive weekend for you.
Yeah, it was a great race. I was up there till the last corner, a bit of contact there, but it was all good.
And you're enjoying the racing?
Yeah, it's really fun.
Fantastic. All right. We'll get P2 over, please. And in P2, Marcus Hammond. Here he comes. He's just busy celebrating with his family. I see your mum over there, and I think your brother. But anyway, they look really proud of you. Well done, P2.
Thank you. Like this year at my home track, getting a podium, it's just amazing, and I'm really thankful for all my sponsors, my parents, everyone who dedicates to me, and I'm very thankful.
Oh, Marcus, that's so sweet. Will you go and enjoy this podium?
Thank you.
Incredible stuff. That's so nice. And in P1, Hudson Thompson. Hey, you're getting used to this position, aren't you?
Yeah, it's pretty good being on the podium.
Yeah, it's a learning curve, but it's also it also shows you what you can achieve in the future.
Yeah, everyone just slowed down because no one wanted to lead onto the main straight because you can slipstream to the line. So I just went for it and went around the outside of all of them, got a good run to the line and ended up taking it.
Did Gary McCoy teach you how to do that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Excellent stuff. All right, congratulations to all the OJC kids. And Steve Martin, we're going to bring you on in here and wrap the show up because it has been an unbelievable weekend from OJC all the way through to Alpine Stars Superbikes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what we've seen on track this weekend is just like I cannot wait every weekend. I get on the plane wherever we go, whether it's Phillip Island, here at Wakefield Park. You just never know who's going to win, who's going to finish where. I love watching those young kids out on track. It's amazing what they do in that Blue Crew Junior Cup, you know. So many things to think back on, and what's happened this weekend. All of the classes, the 600 Super Sport class, the Michelin Super Sport class, mixed up all over the place, just the way we like it.
Yeah, exactly. Some wild cards in there, really. Sean Condon in there, who hadn't ridden for 7 years. His performance was unbelievable and such a character as well. Ty Lynch, who's come back from a really big injury. John Littris, I mean, he just obliterated the field. It was really fun to watch the 600.
Yeah, it certainly was. I think in all of the classes, I mean, everybody's got a positive story to take away from this weekend, probably except for Ollie Simpson, who hurt himself coming in while leading the championship, but pretty much I think everyone's pretty happy.
Yeah. And the Superbikes was phenomenal as usual, but I tell you what, we are heading to Darwin next, which is always a cracking race and just a brilliant event in general.
Well, personally, I might go up a couple of weeks early and do some crocodile hunting or something, I don't know, but I cannot wait to get up there.
Can you be my tour guide?
I'm not very good with crocodiles, but if you pay me money, I'll do anything.
All right, Steve, well, that's great. Well, I'll be seeing you there 17th to 19th of June for round 4 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. Catch everything on the ASBK website and socials, and we'll see you round 4 in Darwin.